7 weeks done with the pursuit for Hyrox Dallas and officially the Dallas Marathon. I'm officially signed up. Patrick signed up also. So that's what we're doing. So I don't know if I made the announcement last week, but yeah, officially signed up for both. So the pursuit is ongoing.
We're fully locked in.
So yeah, Patrick talked last week. He had just gotten up to Myrtle Beach for his week trip to promote and build his startup that he's building with his business partner called Honey Golf, and specifically their first product, the Honey Stick. So Patrick, I know this last week for you definitely had competing priorities. At the same time, was a vacation, so I know things were a little in flux for you. So I think it'd be good just to take all our audience like through your week and like kind of thoughts and feelings you had during the week, and then like how you feel now going into this next week.
Yeah, so my partner and I were in Myrtle Beach all week, and we started a company like 4 months ago called Honey Golf around our first initial product, which is the Honey Stick. And if any of you guys golf, regardless of how good you are, you can be an amateur, you could be a pro, but regardless, you're going to slice and hook the ball. So we basically created a club face gel that you put on your club face, on any club face, and it eliminates hooks and slices. So it's not for tournaments, it's not for pros, it's just for the average golfer, I guess, or people who just want to go out, have fun with their friends, not lose 30 balls around, and just enjoy the game more. So we pretty much went out there for 8 days, I think, to do a full on marketing campaign because all we're selling on is TikTok, Instagram, and Amazon. So TikTok and Instagram, we obviously need to be pumping 10 to 20 videos a day out to keep sales up. So that's pretty much what we did. It felt cool to put it on a company card and stuff, which was nice. Um, but it did obviously affect training too. So we were golfing 2 rounds a day pretty much for 7 days straight. That's like 7 to 8 hours of golf. And then we were also, we stayed at my partner's really good friend's house who lives there. So we're kind of, entertaining him and going out to eat and all this stuff. So diet was definitely off point. Training was definitely off point. I did 3 runs throughout all last week, which is obviously substantially lower than what we're used to. Um, but then again, it was a vacation, but it just feels really good to be back home. And Tristan and I just planned out this next coming week 8, and I'm just excited to kind of get back on the horse, get diet dialed in, training dialed in, and everything just kind of back to normalcy because I don't think it's going to have a big effect this last week on just my progress so far, but it's definitely not helping anything. Maybe it helped me rest some, but like I'm just really excited to get back into it.
Yeah, I mean, how I view it is especially so we had a tempo run this week where it was a mile warm up and then 7Ks repeated with 60 seconds rest. And I told Patrick after I did mine, and like this is truly how I felt. I don't feel I gave true like 110%. Like I definitely could have gone faster. I was definitely proud of my times. Like I went faster, or like I did go fast. I worked hard, but I was more in that this is uncomfortable compared to wow, I couldn't do another rep. And it's we've talked before where like I need to get more used to running in that like faster pace I'm uncomfortable feeling. So in that sense, I felt good. But then Patrick did it, and all his times were like 30 seconds faster than mine. So I'm truly of the belief that this week largely is a blessing for you, especially with like the aches and pains you've been feeling in your feet and shins. Like a couple days off from running, especially considering like I really built up mileage before this plan, and like you kind of didn't. You kind of jumped straight into it, and so kind of these nagging aches and pains. Like I'm hoping that like it's week 7 right now, like going to be week 8. It's like kind of halfway through the process. Like this like just propels you further, and
I
like
agree.
just from a gym perspective, like not worried at all. It's like you don't lose anything in a week, and I mean just talking high rock specifically, like that the 1K repeats, like we basically did the running for a high rocks and arguably had less rest than we would doing the Hyrox because doing it as a duo, like one of us is resting, one of us is doing the workout, and then we both run. And it's like we talked a couple weeks ago of like I think Patrick said 8 minute pace for the Ks, and
That's
like
easy. It's
we definitely
cake.
want to be closer to seven, and like Patrick was below 7 minute pace for like most of his, and it's like we have what 5 more weeks until High Rock, so it's like
Hmm.
we should be able to crush our run,
Yeah.
and so
And off that tempo run, I feel the same way. Like those were by far the hardest workouts every single week leading up to week 7. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think it was a blessing in disguise to kind of f off in Myrtle for a little bit because my legs felt really good and I felt comfortable in being uncomfortable for each one of those 1Ks. So I agree with you. I'm definitely getting more comfortable just at a faster pace. So it feels really good. And I think we're at a really good spot. And I agree. Just the movements for High Rocks are difficult, and we're still improving. But I don't think I would lose any muscle or progress from taking a week and not doing any of that. But it does just make me really excited to get back in the gym this week. I'm itching for it.
yeah. And then speaking of this week and really going forward as we're approaching the High Rocks date, we we feel the need. Like I definitely feel the need to just have specific days where maybe I'm not doing a full hour in the gym for a full hour, 15 minutes, like however long the full workout takes. But if I have 15 to 20 minutes to walk over to my apartment gym as opposed to my actual gym, like I can do wall balls, I can focus, I can do the rowing machine, I can do burpee broad jumps. Like I can focus on one area of the High Rocks that I feel I need to give more work in so that come race day, I feel more comfortable or I can do better. So like that's definitely a focus we're going to have like as we get nearer to race day. And like it starts with this coming week. I think we've mapped out like 2 days that, well, 2 days will be, actually, no, we'll be in the gym 3 days, but then like 1 or 2 extra day of like, okay, just gonna do burpee broad jumps or just gonna do lunges type of thing. So
Correct. Yeah. And with that, what do you think? What movements do you think you're going to want to focus on for those extra days?
yeah, so I think just getting used to the burpee broad jumps, just because I think I believe that will be the exercise that like makes your heart rate the highest. And then inherently when you go to run, you're going to be running compromised. So it's just getting used to that. I would say lunges and the wall balls are similar in the sense that they're just going to kill your legs, but I don't think the movements are necessarily that hard. It's more just like getting used to, yeah, my legs are burning. Like, how many more reps can I do before we switch off?
Mm-hmm.
And then just individually, like the ski erg is the first event, and all the rule of thought is like don't go out too hard. It's the first event, but like I feel I struggle in the ski, so it's just like if I could chip off a couple of seconds on my 500-meter time, like that adds up in the long run. So
Yeah.
yeah,
For me, it's definitely the burpee broad jumps. I just need to be doing more of them and just getting comfortable with the technique, I think. Um, Sled pushes, I feel good. Sled pulls, I don't really think I have the right rope and all that stuff, but I think it's pretty doable for both of us. So burpee broad jumps is definitely going to be one of my focuses for this week, and then ski as well, and potentially rowing too. I might do something like a superset of ski and rowing. I know you feel super comfortable with the row. I do, but it still pains me pretty much every single time I do it. So I could definitely build more on that. And same with ski. And they're both big technique movements too. So if I can just
yeah,
keep dialing technique, I think it'll just get more efficient and more easy.
yeah. It's like I feel comfortable rowing, and then I look at my times compared to like other people I follow, and
It's
I don't
insane.
know how they're so much faster than me, and it truly is technique where it's like you could just make one slight change in your movement, and it's like you unlock like 5 seconds, and it's like
Hmm.
that matters so much. So yeah, that's a focus for me too, and I definitely like the workouts where like a 200-meter repeat on a row machine or 250, whatever it is, and then you have like a minute break and you just do that 10 times. Like by
Yeah.
the end of that, that's like 2,500 meters you've rowed or skied in like roughly less than 30 minutes. So it's like
Hmm.
that's a good workout to do. So yeah, so I guess switching things over to running, the long run for this past week was 14 miles, which I did it yesterday, and that's the longest we've done.
Hmm.
or the prep had, and honestly felt really good. And I tried to do it where like just go at a comfortable pace for the first half, and then I took like a 2 minute water break after like right around 7 miles, and then my next three I tried to go like a progression mile pace. So I went like 9 minute pace, 8:40, 8:20 for like the next 3 miles, and I really felt good. And then
I think
just
that shows a lot of progress. I haven't tried that on a long run yet, but the fact that you can incrementally kind of increase speed and do that and just fine, I'm going to try that this week. And we're running together this week in
yeah,
Austin.
so we'll have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of that thinking where at a certain point, the long run is less about just putting mileage on our feet, and it's more like if we have a race pace in mind, like we should start running at that race pace
I
when we're
agree.
tired or at the longer duration. So, like largely, long run is still like aerobic building, like leg strengthening exercise, but I definitely wanted to like up it and be like, okay, get more used to how I would feel come race day.
And I
So
think if we start that, we're halfway through the marathon prep at the end of this week. If we start that halfway, or you started a little earlier, I think we're going to be surprised and impressed with ourselves and our times. I think that's going to play a big difference because I don't think most training plans like implement that. Like ours isn't. You're just thinking that, and you're the one with the
actually,
marathon experience.
I believe we are following like a beginner plan. Like inherently that's what it is, but at the end of the day, like you still gotta do all the running. So in that sense, we're still running a bunch. But at base level, it is a beginner plan. And I did look ahead, Patrick. I want to say the 18-mile day, it might be the 20-mile day, but it's like the last 6 miles are supposed to be at marathon pace. So it's like we do
Okay.
have that, but other plans I've seen, it's like that sort of run is like every long run for the most
Wow.
part.
Yeah,
Um,
and I don't want to wait that long for the 18 or 20 miler to try, start doing that. Because when we just, I feel like I'm going to hit a wall. Like
yeah,
if I wait for that long. So I'm glad I like that plan.
yeah. Yeah, so I definitely had a high as far as like doing the long runs and really just like I know my times in the tempo run weren't as fast as yours, but like how I felt during it. Like I felt uncomfortable, but very comfortable in that uncomfort. So like that's a
Well, and
high
you
for
felt
me.
like you had more gas in the tank.
Yeah.
Like you could do a lot more, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. So it definitely wasn't one of those like this is the hardest workout of my life. Like a couple weeks ago when we did the 800-meter repeats, like that was everything I had. So
That one sucked. That one was ridiculous.
yeah. Yeah. So moving into next week, the long run is 12 miles. We have a tempo run where we're doing mile repeats, which we have four of them and a mile warm up, mile cool down. So that's going to be really hard, especially with 90 seconds rest and like trying to give each mile your all. We already talked about the Hyrox stuff. We're doing 3 full days in the gym and then some extra work we're going to do. And I am flying to Dallas Friday morning. So we will be doing the Friday 4 mile easy run together. And then we have the 12-mile long run that we will also be together in person for, which I'm excited about because it's like you've done it a couple times. I think you have a buddy you run with, but it's like it's so different running with someone for a long time compared to
So
like
much
just being
better.
alone. So
Especially if we're going to pace and kind of increase the speed. Like that's going to be a
yeah,
game changer, I think, having you here. So, yeah, I'm super excited too. And then we're headed to Austin either Friday night or Saturday morning. But then for the F1 race. But yeah, we're still going to do that long run that I'm super excited about. Is that your first time in Austin?
like staying in Austin, yeah, because I went last year and we drove from Houston like the day of, which
Yeah,
stunk.
it's cool. There's a bunch of cool places to run. I only lived there
Yeah,
for
and it's
like
like
4 months, but there's some options.
and like that big lake that everyone runs around. Like
Hmm.
I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of runners, which will be cool.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, another week done. Hopefully, Patrick, this has been your hardest logistical week. But
yeah.
again, like I don't look back on it as in like you let me down or it was even a bad week. It's just a reality of your life situation. But at the same time, like I do think it's a blessing with the timing that it came in. You
You
know, like
talking
roughly
me,
halfway through.
yeah. You talking me just to me about it. I think it definitely was a blessing. Like I think I'm just gonna. I think I'm like fully rested. I don't think I'm gonna have any issues from here on out. Like everything feels good.
Yeah. So the progression continues, the pursuit continues day by day, week by week. We get closer to race day and we're feeling good. So
Hmm.
another week done. Week 8 starts tomorrow. Let's go.
Let's go.